Earlier today, I was reminiscing about my good old days of youth. Frolicking through fields, jumping into haystacks, running wild and free. This all came to an end when I started college. It was a pretty stressful time. I was fine, but my mom was freaking out, running back and forth, checking everything was set. I swear, you would think she was the one going to college. She even did all the packing for me, just the essentials as I recall. Dad was so stressed with my impending move, he couldn't even help with the packing. When it was time to go, I decided to bid farewell to all the amazing friends I would be leaving behind. Goku, I will miss you most of all. It was my first time living away from home, so I didn't really know what to expect. I wondered what it would be like in the dorms. Would I have a phone? Would there be internet? Would I have to send messages to my family by carrier pigeon? Or would I spend my days staring out the window, counting the stars? Goodbye, childhood. I am now a man. When we arrived on campus, my mom helped me to unload my stuff. She puts it down and then begins sobbing. It was really hard on her. I was her whole life. What is she going to do now without me? I'm just so happy you're finally leaving. Now your dad and I can finally have some alone time. What? Then mom jumps back into car, dad gave her the sexy eyes and drive away like running away from a zombie. Cool, I never wanted you guys to visit anyways. I went into the hall on my own. It would be way too embarrassing to have my parents come along with me. I am a man now, time to start acting like one. So, after a couple of hours of being completely lost, I finally found what seemed to be my room. There was a danger sign stuck on the door, so either it's the janitor's closet or my roommates are typical teenage stereotypes. Inside was a typical gaming room, colorful lights, 2 UFO-ware 27-inch gaming monitors, and 2 not-so-secret Omega's gaming chair. At this point, I should point out we are still looking for sponsors for this channel. These could be your products here. Cough, cough, nudge, nudge. I saw my 2 new roommates, Ken and Dave, sitting in front of their computers, playing video games and shouting through their headphone mics. I tried to say hi, but they either didn't hear or they didn't care. I needed to win them over. So what's the best way to make friends? With food. As soon as I took out my food container, Ken and Dave's ears perk up. What you got there? Is that food? It's some homemade fruit tarts my mom made. They're delicious. Want to try some? I opened the container, and as soon as I did, a terrible whiff hit Ken and Dave right in the face. Oops, I probably should have mentioned it was durian tart. Dave and Ken seem like 2 pretty cool guys, so I'm sure they won't hold it against me. At least that's what I thought until they revealed to me their initial plan. They planned to cover me in bubble wrap in the middle of the night while I sleep. And the most annoying thing was that the bubbles will just keep on popping, and I will be like a really dull-looking fireworks show. I will have to pop the bubbles to get out, but can't risk waking the neighbors. We had already had several complaints about a strange smell coming from our room. So I had to hop my way out of the room, down the hallway through the foyer to the grass, where I did a stop, drop, and roll. And the real pranks had only just begun. Oh no. A few days later, I came home and found my bed, table, closet, everything covered in little sticky notes. Worse still, some of those sticky notes were mine. The pranks continued for the next while. The worst one was on a day when I woke up late for class. I got dressed as quickly as I could and ran to the classroom. On the way, I kept getting a weird tickling feeling in my thighs, but I didn't have time to stop and check. I arrived late, and as punishment, the professor made me stand in front of the class and give a recap on yesterday's topic. I was super embarrassed. I was about to speak. I felt the tingling again. I looked down, and a squirrel dropped right out from my pants leg, gave me the meanest look, ran off, and then jumped out the window. This had Ken and Dave written all over it. I would text my mom at night, telling her how sad I was. I spilled my guts out, and all I got back was a lousy LOL. Ugh, that woman is cold. What's her problem? It later turned out that she thought LOL actually meant lots of love. Remember, folks, learning your kids' modern abbreviation vernacular is vital for good parenting. A few days later, I overheard Ken telling Dave that he had been hearing strange noises in the middle of the night, coming from the empty bunk bed above mine. Dave, too, had experienced some strange goings-on, as all his snacks had been bitten, leaving teeth marks that resembled a fang. According to them, there was only one reasonable explanation: vampire. I thought this was another prank at first, until they both came back from the library with various books for the occult section. They finally approached me and asked for help. "How would you like to make it up to us?" they said. I tentatively agreed, fearing the worst. They said they would stop the pranks if I helped them with their plan. Tonight, we were going to catch a vampire. We weren't exactly Van Helsing, I must say. I went to the shops and acquired most of the items quite easily, everything except for holy water. I didn't want to return home empty-handed, so I bought some sparkling water instead. It wouldn't burn quite as much as holy water, but it does have that bit of tingle to it. It would at least give the vampire a good fright, if not a burn, right? When I arrived back at their room, Ken let Dave and myself in on his master plan. First, we will leave snacks on the bed. If it is a vampire, then surely we are the snacks, but I digress. And then, when the vampire appears to steal our Cheetos, Dave will throw a blanket on top of him, trapping him for at least a few minutes. Then, I would tie him to the window while Ken attempts to shove garlic down its mouth. And then all we have to do is wait for the sun to rise. He might get riled up, about to be turned into dust and all, and that's when the holy water comes in. Ken said we would spray him with holy water as it was believed to be a purifier that washes away evil and sin. It all sounded like a great plan to me, so we set everything up, turned off the lights, and hid under the blankets and waited patiently. Not long afterwards, we heard some noises coming from the bed above mine. Just like we planned, we instigated the plan perfectly. The blanket thrown by Dave landed on me, by the way. I had to take the blanket off of myself and throw it onto the bed, covering the creature. The odd thing was its size. Much too small to be a vampire, unless a baby vampire. Dave slowly lifts up the blanket and the baby vampire jumps right for him. Ken, ever the hero, springs into action and throws the garlic right out the window. Luckily, I was ready to spring into action, and I caught the demon child with my bare hands. I look at the creature, but hey, I know you. It was a squirrel, the squirrel from before. He must have memorized the way to our room, so he could come round any time to steal our snacks and sleep in our spare bed. After feeding him some of our leftover garlic, which he gobbled up quite thankfully, proving he was not a vampire squirrel, we all sat around in a circle and drank some delicious, sparkling holy water. Dave thanked me for saving him and promised to have my back no matter what. Just then, we heard some strange footsteps approaching from outside. Whoever it was stopped right outside our room and stood there. Being the brave person I am, I volunteered to go check it out. I opened the door, and standing there was a very old man. Was it Van Helsing? Garlic. He is Van Helsing. Were you throwing garlic out the window? Oh yeah, sorry, that's my bad. We were trying to get the vampire. Don't do that again, young man. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Please share it to your friends if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.